Hey everyone, welcome back to Collie Country. We really need to get ready for spring. I've had a few jobs on my list for a while now, and this weekend we're getting into it. Try and prepare ourselves for spring. Got to paint the flow hive back here, get some gardens prepped, plant some of my seedlings that really need to go out. It's the middle of the day, it's way too hot to be out in the garden right now, so I figured we'll paint the hive. I decided to go with the flow hive. I've done heaps of research on it and looked at the pros and cons of both. I decided to go with the flow hive because it doesn't disturb the bees so much when you're harvesting honey. It doesn't mean it's less work in terms of beekeeping itself, like you still need to do all the, hive inspections and keep an eye on your brood and your queen and all that sort of stuff. But as far as the harvesting honey, that bit is easier. First thing I need to do is paint this thing because it's going to be out down near the dams where I've decided to put it. It's quite protected there, but we need to paint it to protect this wood. For anyone who has a crack that I should be using primer before I put paint on, this is a self-priming paint, outdoor paint, so I don't know what I'm doing, but we're giving it a red hot crack. Alright, finished product. Pretty happy with it. I think maybe I shouldn't be allowed to do these types of projects. I think there's more paint on me and on the floor than there is on this box. Hey guys, next morning. Ended up just not doing a whole lot yesterday. It was too hot, but it's much cooler today. There's cloud cover and there's a nice breeze. So I thought what I might do is get some gardens prepped, plant some of these seedlings out that really need to be planted. But I thought I'd show you something interesting for those of you that don't live in Australia. Pulled up the tarp off these and we got cane toads, grossage cane toads in my garden. Now these toads are pests. They were introduced into Queensland, I don't know, a gazillion years ago, to deal with cane beetles. Now instead of eating the cane beetles, they eat all our native frogs and lizards and things like that. They're a huge problem. So best way to deal with them is Dettol or salt water. But then I need to pick them up so the dogs don't chew them. So that's what I need to do first, take care of these cane toads. Alright, toads are dealt with. All I'm going to do for this bed is chuck some composted chicken manure I bought just from the local Mitre 10 and then mulch it and plant. There was a tarpaul under this bed, but I pulled all that out, which has now made the drainage 100 times better. So I think this one's going to be Nice little bed this year. Right, there we go. Chicken manure's down. I didn't put too much in because I did bury a heap of like fish heads and scraps under here. So I don't think it needs too much more nitrogen. If anything, what I'll probably do is grab a shovelful of some ash we've got and I might chuck that on as well. Okie dokie, all mulched. I just use this straw mulch. It was like $5 a bale from one of the farmers down the road. It doesn't break down really quick, which is fine. Seems to work really well. I'm happy with it. What I've decided to plant in this bed, mainly because these are the ones that really need to be planted out. So I've got my zucchini plants and some okra. So I think I'm going to plant the okra at the back and then the zucchini down the front. They'll probably run out of room, but it's fine. We'll deal with it. I don't know how they're going to go, especially the zucchini. It's already very much starting to feel like spring. It's getting a lot more humid and hot, as we can tell because the cane toads are out. All right, let's get planting. I can't remember what type of okra this is, but I planted it last year and I liked it, so I thought we'd give it another go. Yeah, it's definitely ready to be planted. Oh yeah, this zucchini's definitely ready too. Look at that roots. All right, excited to get some spring plants in the ground, that's for sure. Doesn't seem like a lot, but this is actually going to be a lot of food for 2 people. Probably more zucchinis and okra that we can eat. So I'm sure we'll be giving plenty of it away to friends. Also need to fence this new garden bed off somehow, because otherwise these collies will be straight into it, especially with that chicken compost just put on there. See what we can find. All right, so battery went flat when I was doing all that. I didn't even notice, but some dodgy chicken wire fencing is dodgy as, but it's temporary just to keep the dogs out for a couple of weeks till these plants can establish and the dogs lose interest. Alrighty, a few more things I need to get done today. I need to pick a heap of mulberries off that tree that I was going to cut down, but it's actually producing the best mulberries ever. Need to harvest some more tomatoes, and I need to then package and freeze all of that. So let's get into it. So this is the mulberry tree. I was going to cut it down, but now I'm double thinking that because, like, look how good these mulberries look. They're heaps plumpier and juicier than the other trees and what they're producing. Even though it's early as, it's only just like in the second week of spring. I'll probably still cut this tree down once this season's done though, because it's just in the wrong place. And there's 300 million mulberry trees on this property, so okay, it was a bit of an exaggeration. There's like 6, but 6 is a lot of mulberries. All right, I'll get this harvested and I'll show you what we've got at the end. Back inside, finished harvesting those mulberries. I'll show you what we got. I don't know if you can really see it in there. Hang on, I need to get them out to wash them anyway. 1 second. Okay, so got like a colander full. It's pretty good for early harvest. There's still so much fruit left on those trees that we'll have to get over the next few months. So all I do with these is give them a quick wash. Just a bit of a rinse. Ignore the dishes, they need to be done. Yeah. Now, I don't spray anything on my trees, so I'm not trying to rinse off any chemicals or anything, just some bugs, really. Alright, so I'll let them dry and then they'll go into the freezer as is. I don't bother de-stemming them because when you cook them down later, the stems will just come to the top and you can fish them out. Next thing I need to do is get these tomatoes preserved as well. Now the way I preserve tomatoes for the time being is I'm just freezing them all. So if you cut the cores out, score the bottoms, when you defrost them, the skins come straight off. So, and they'll be good for any sort of cooking, tomato sauce. I'm probably going to make a heap of chili sauces later in the year, so they'll be good for that. We're bringing in probably this much a week at the moment, this many tomatoes. So we're definitely getting some in the freezer for later on when we need them. For any that still need to do some ripening, I just chuck them in a bowl. These could do with a bit more. These are alright. These are pretty soft. Alright, so these will just stay there until they ripen. Some of these have some stuff on them. So here's my little knife. Little cross on the bottom. Done. This needs some more too. Oh, this chonker. It's my big chonker from the other day. I don't even know. I think I'm going to have to cut it in half to be able to do it properly. Look how beautiful it is on the inside. These are great tomatoes for fresh eating, but I don't think I'm going to get to it in time, so I'll just freeze it. All these cores and stuff, they'll all go in the compost, so nothing's really wasted. Beautiful. This one's a bit gross. You can go straight in the compost. Alright, I'm sure you get the idea. Alright, all those tomatoes fit into one big freezer bag. I'll continue to fill this with the mulberries as we get more, so then that'll be a bag full. And then these just go straight into the deep freeze. I think freezing's gonna have to be my preferred method of preserving things, just because I've done canning before, but it definitely was not as hot and humid where I used to live. So I'm a little bit concerned that maybe in that sort of heat and that sort of humidity, it actually wouldn't be a great way to preserve food. But I'll show you what we've got going in the deep freeze so far. So these are tomatoes I just put in, mulberries from last year, many bags of mandarins, good couple of bags of tomatoes in here. So yeah, off to a good start, I think. Anyway, that's it from us today at Collie Country. We'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, what's in? Oh, what's in? You're so handsome.